What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another Dragonflight video. We're going to talk about the Doomwinds rotations. This is for the Doomerman build that I was trying a couple days ago. This is actually, I think, my favorite way to play Enhancement Shaman right now. So we're going to go over a detailed version of the rotations. I'm going to explain to you what the build is doing. And there's three distinct parts to this build that I also want to explain. Appa's attacking me in the background. And it's important to understand all of those. So I'm going to take you step by step through each of the three parts of the build, and then we're going to actually practice on the dummies. I'm going to show you the rotation, spell by spell. It is fairly simple compared to, let's say, the Trinity build. It doesn't have anywhere near as many buttons as the Trinity build does, but it has some very, very important things that you have to get right about this build. Namely, it's the Doomwinds part of it that you need to get right, or else you're kind of in big trouble. So let me shift over to my image here that I've kind of made up for you guys, and we'll go step by step through the different stages of the build. All right, I'm over here now. I'm up on the ceiling here just so you guys can see this picture a little bit better. So here's a little thing that a little mock-up that I wrote for you guys. So this is really important to understand. Number one, your main rotation is going to be 3 spells, okay? We've got Crash Lightning in the middle. It's going to push you into Storm Strike, and Storm Strike's going to push you into Chain Lightning, okay? Very, very important to understand how this works. Converging Storms tells us that each target hit by Crash Lightning increases the damage of your next Storm Strike by 25%, up to a maximum of 6. So you can get up to 125%, no, 25%, 100, 150% more damage on your Storm Strike. So Crash Lightning into Storm Strike, and then you'll have built up enough Maelstrom weapon stacks that you're going to go into Chain Lightning. Chain Lightning does 2 things. Number one, it'll cool down your Crash Lightning and buff the damage of your next Crash Lightning. And it'll proc Legacy of the Frost Witch, which we have, which consuming 10 stacks of Maelstrom weapon will reset the cooldown on Storm Strike. Again, with this Doomwinds build, we are running Ascendance. We're running Deeply Rooted down here in the corner. Okay, very, very important to remember this. So we're running DRE. We want to be pressing Storm Strike as much as possible. That's what this build does. It allows you to press Storm Strike after Storm Strike after Storm Strike, and that's going to proc Deeply Rooted for you. So here's your main rotation. Crash Lightning, Storm Strike, Chain Lightning. Boom, boom, boom. It's the trifecta. Okay, that's going to be most of your damage is going to come from there. Every 45 seconds, we're going to move over to step 2, which is over here. Okay? Very important little window over here. This is your 45-second burst window with Primordial Wave. So you start with Primordial Wave. It puts a Flame Shock on the enemy. You spread that Flame Shock around, and then you're gonna press Lightning Bolt, and your Lightning Bolt's gonna cleave all those targets that have Flame Shock on them. Okay? Now, that's going to make your Lightning Bolt do Giga Chad damage. It hits really, really hard. And most importantly, it's going to proc Splintered Elements, which says each additional Lightning Bolt that goes off, because of Primordial Wave, increases your haste by 10% for 12 seconds. You can get 6 of these going off. On average, you're going to get 5, but if you want to min-max this thing, you can get 6. You can have 6 Flame Shocks out. You throw out your Lightning Bolt, hits all 6 of them, you get 60% more haste. Why is this burst window important? Number one, it does crazy amounts of damage. This Lightning Bolt does crazy amounts of damage. Number two, getting 50 or 60% haste allows us to press Storm Strike more often. Again and again and again. Back to Storm Strike. It'll just blow up your rotation. You just start going really, really, really fast, and you can get all your spells in there. You'll be triggering Stormbringer every like 2 seconds. You'll just be mashing Storm Strike over and over and over again, which will allow you to proc more deeply rooted elements, which is going to be a ton of our damage. Okay. Finally, the big piece here is going to be the big Doomwinds window. This is step 3. This is the most critical part of the build, and it's the thing you can mess up the easiest. It's the easiest thing to mess up by far. So of all the Enhancement Shaman builds, this is the one that has Doomwinds, and Doomwinds is an actual cooldown. It's a real cooldown that you have to respect, and you have to understand, and you have to play around it. The 45-second burst window from Primordial Wave it's not really a cooldown. It's like you just press it on the next pack that has 4 or 5 or 6 enemies. You press this sucker and you go. Doomwinds really is about maximizing its efficiency, maximizing the damage you get out of it. A couple important things. When you press Doomwinds, you need to have Crash Lightning and Storm Strike off cooldown. Let me just come over here. These two abilities, in fact, all three of these abilities, Crash Lightning, Storm Strike, and Sundering, should all be off cooldown. Because when you press all three of these buttons with your Doomwinds buff rolling, you get so much Wind Fury damage, it's insane. Especially Doomwinds plus Sundering. Do not screw that up. Don't press Doomwinds. I mean, if for whatever reason you've pressed Sundering and it's kind of off kilter with the cooldown of Doomwinds, then that's okay. But that's something to work on. That's something to work on to min-max for this build. So remember, you pop Doomwinds and pop it at the right moment. Make sure that you're doing it at the right time. Try to maximize the damage that you're going to get out of it. Have Crash Lightning ready. Have Storm Strike ready. Have Sundering ready. And you will be rewarded. Not only is this going to do crazy amounts of Wind Fury damage, but it's going to proc Stormbringer repeatedly, and you're going to get back to pressing Storm Strike, which is going to get back to triggering DRE. Do you see how this works? Do you understand how the three of these things work together now? So that's your rotation in a nutshell. Your main rotation is going to be these three spells. Every 45 seconds, we kind of go over here, and we do a Primordial Wave burst window, and then we get back to our regular rotation in the middle. Every minute and a half, you got to focus up and pop your Doomwinds in the right moment when you can maximize its damage. Make sure you're not going to get crowd controlled. Make sure that you have access to the enemies that you're hitting, and make sure ideally that there's a lot of enemies in front of you. The more the merrier. And then you pop Doomwinds into these three abilities and you will do crazy amounts of damage. And again, you're going to proc lots of Storm Strikes. Okay, so that's the little rotation for you. I'm going to put this picture in my Discord if you're interested in having it, okay? This picture will be in the Discord at the end of the video. All right, back to the dummies. We're going to do a test here, and we're going to actually show you the rotation in action. I'm going to put the abilities on screen. I always forget to get rid of my objectives here. I'm going to get rid of my objectives this time. You are running Wind Fury and Flame Tongue. Don't forget to have Wind Fury on. If you don't have Wind Fury on, you're going to miss about 11 to 12% of your damage. Make sure you've got your Wind Fury buff on, okay? Remember, my item level is 375. My weapons are 359. They're terrible, guys. They're terrible. I'm trying to upgrade them. I will try to upgrade them as much as I can, but right now, just keep that in mind. Here's what your rotation is going to look like. As with a lot of the other builds, you're starting with the Primordial Wave 45-second burst window. We go Wolves into Primordial Wave, then you're going to spread it around with Lava Lash, then you're going to Lightning Bolt, and then you're going to go on your regular rotation. These three spells right here, okay? Here we go. I'm going to try and do it a little bit slower so you can see it. Wolves, Primordial Wave, spread it around, Lightning Bolt. Now we're going to pop Doomwinds into our regular rotation. Okay? Sundering. Now we're going very, very fast. Okay? Very, very fast. The dogs are back. We're going to summon the dogs. Remember, these dogs are physical dogs. So they will buff our physical damage by about 30%. Not about. It is 30%. Exactly. So that's a buff that they're always giving us, which is fantastic. You can see our damage is really, really good, even though we haven't even procced a Deeply Rooted yet. And I'm hoping that it'll happen. There we go. There we go. We proc one DRE there. Try to maximize the amount of times that you press. Oh, there we go again. Press Storm Strike as much as you can in your DRE windows, because your Wind Strikes do a lot of damage. Okay, now Primordial Wave is back, plus our dogs. Another Lightning Bolt. And go. Sundering. We're going very fast now. Very, very fast. Your Lava Lash is just a filler, and it just keeps your Flame Shocks alive. That's all Lava Lash is doing. Otherwise, we're cycling between Storm Strike, Crash Lightning, and Chain Lightning, and we're putting our dogs out as much as possible. And you can see we're sustaining over 80k damage here. Pretty solid stuff. Okay? So it's very, very fast. When you get into the Primordial Wave window, it's very fast. And this is what your damage profile is going to look like. Chain Lightning is going to be way up there. Again, this is Mythic Plus. We're in AoE primarily. Crash Lightning is going to be huge. Both instances of Crash Lightning, both the initial hit of Crash Lightning and the splash damage that your Storm Strike will do afterwards, that accounts for 20% of our damage. Crash Lightning alone is 20% of our damage. So remember to keep hitting that button, okay? Then we have Wind Fury, and Lightning Bolt, of course, is way up there because of Primordial Wave cleaving our Lightning Bolt, making it do crazy amounts of damage, okay? So how many times did we proc Ascendance there? We procced it only twice, so we got actually a little bit unlucky. But, you know, you can expect Ascendance to proc once every 45 seconds. That's like on the low end. Once every 45 seconds to a minute, that's on the low end. So you're getting a little bit unlucky there. But I've found with this build, it's proccing once every 30 seconds to 45 seconds or so. That's about what your Ascendance is going to give you. Remember to try to pump Sundering into your Doomwinds window. Why? Because it's going to make your Wind Fury damage look like this. Your Wind Fury damage is going to be incredibly, incredibly high. I took Storm Blast, which is actually giving us 2.1% more damage, which is kind of crazy. So I actually ditched elemental weapons in terms of the talents. Because, again, we're mostly doing physical damage. Not fire, not frost, not nature. There's a lot of nature damage in here. I understand that. This is something you could play around with if you want to. If you think that Storm Blast is not a good way to do this, then by all means take the elemental weapons route. But I think getting Storm's Wrath and getting Storm Blast are very important. Storm's Wrath takes our Stormbringer proc chance from 6% to 8.1%. That's a lot, actually. That's a lot of extra chance for us to proc our Storm Strike, which, again, the whole build revolves around proccing Storm Strike. So I took Storm's Wrath and Storm Blast to get down to Primordial Wave, okay? This is what the build looks like, guys. This is it in a nutshell. You do have Wind Fury Totem. You have Deeply Rooted Elements. You have 1 point in Legacy. You have Alpha Dogs on the bottom to do big AoE damage whenever we press Crash Lightning and Chain Lightning, which you can see 7% of our damage was just the Alpha Wolf talent. So it's popping off really, really well there. So that's the build in a nutshell. I hope you guys understood how this build wants to play. Again, that main rotation being Crash Lightning, Chain Lightning, Storm Strike. That's the main thing. Everything else in this build, your Primordial Wave window, right here, your Wolves and your Doomwinds window, they're all there to support Storm Strike, to prop it up and allow it to do as much damage as possible and allow you to pump Ascendance as much as possible, okay? So that's just how this build works. It works the exact same in single target. You're not going to add anything to the single target rotation except for the occasional Frost Shock when you are, have nothing else to press. But single target is the exact same. This is a Mythic Plus build, so on boss fights, what I'm saying is that your rotation's not going to change there at all. Last thing I'm going to say is that this build is going to scale tremendously well with more haste. I only have 17% haste, so it's kind of terrible. But guys, I'm telling you, with the Primordial Wave buff itself giving you haste, if you were starting out with like 25% haste, which if you guys are maining Enhancement Shaman, this is one of my alts. So if you're maining Enhancement Shaman, you might already be at 25% haste. So keep that in mind. If you're maining, if you have about 25% haste, that's going to be amazing. It's going to lower the GCD of Storm Strike. Mine's 6.4 seconds. Yours might be under 6 seconds, maybe 5.5, 5.7. And that's just going to allow you to press it more often than I'll get to press it, which means more damage. Let me show you one more rotation here in AoE with Lust. So just hold on to your hats and try to follow along as best you can. I'm going to be going frantically quick here, okay? So just get ready for that. Got to sit up in my chair for this. Here we go. Ready? Again, Wolves into Doomwind. Wolves into Primordial Wave. Into Lightning Bolt, into Doomwinds. Here we go. Primordial Wave, spread it around. Lightning Bolt. Here we go, Doomwinds. Look at our damage right now. Wolves are back. Haven't got a DRE proc yet. There we go. Every time I say it, it pops. Every single time I say it, it pops. And there you go, guys. That's kind of the speed. I'll wait till Lust falls off here. We'll get Wolves back again. Third cast of Wolves in a Lust window. We'll get one more Primordial Wave off, basically, here. Okay, we're very slow now. That's okay, don't worry. Primordial Wave. Dogs first, then Primordial Wave. Lightning Bolt, and go. One last burst here. There we go. DRE procced, of course. I didn't even have to say it this time. And that's it. One more cast of Wolves. There you go. 100k. Sustained. Sustained over 100k. Look at the damage, guys. See what I'm talking about? If you get a bunch of haste on this build, obviously that was with Bloodlust, so it's kind of insane. But, like, imagine if I had 25% haste instead of 17. It would be nuts how much damage we get. Look how many more procs we get on Ascendance. It's not going to show it, is it? I don't even know. Ascendance proc like 4 times there, I think. And our Wolf uptime was much higher as well. Feral Spirits, 97% uptime on Feral Spirits. Are you kidding me, man? That means you're doing 30% more physical damage all the time. Okay? So Very, very big damage coming out here from this build. Lots of procs on Ascendance, lots of nature damage, crash lighting, lots of wind fury damage. That's going to be one of your primary ones. I love this build. It's a lot of fun. I think this is the best way to do a physical build right now. I think the Thorum's route is just a little bit too clunky right now. We don't have enough haste to make it work. I think this is the best compromise you can make. If you're wanting to do a physical build, this is it, guys, and this is how to do it with the rotation. So thank you so much again for watching. I love you all. I will post all the links to my stuff in my Discord. I'm going to put the link to this build in the description down below. Go check it out. I'll see you guys in the next one.